Hi everybody, welcome back to today's video. I'm going to show you how to design this real quick. Let's step into Photoshop. Let me show you how to do it. Okay, now let's go to file, let's go to new, and then we are going to use a size that I don't use often. Okay, but it's going to be 2000 here, it's going to be 2500 over here. I'm going to set it to 300, and then I'm just going to call it B day poster. That's all. I'll click on create. Now this is also going to be real interesting with a lot of lessons, guys. Really pay attention. I'll go to view, and then I'll go to new gas layout just to set my alignments. I'm going to use 6.6 over here, 0.3 across board. I'll click on OK. It's really important that you set this. All right, now with that said, let's start with the background. So I'll go to file, and I'll go to place embedded, and then I'll pick this one, and then I'll click on place. Okay, now that's it. That's with the background. I'll put it in a group. Okay, and I'll call it BG. Now if you're wondering where I found this background, I created it myself. Okay, so but I don't want you to go through all that stress. You can use it for multiple. That done, let's type with the naming of the name of the person. I'm going to type over here, and then I'm going to pick Selena. Okay, because Selena is the name. I'm going to put it over here, and then I'll go to character there. And then guys, I'm going to be using a font. It's been a while I use that font. He's green. Okay, so let's just wait for it a little bit. Yeah, here's that green regular. I'm going to click on it. I also don't want it to be italic, so I'm going to click here. Then I want it to be all caps, so I'm going to click here. Now let's work on the font size. I'm going to click over here. I want it to be a little bigger, so I'm going to use maybe around 200 or 200 and something. All right, I'll click on my move tool and then move it somewhere here. All right, so now guys, also real important, we are going to give it some gradient overlay. Okay, so I'll double click it, and then I'll go to gradient overlay, and then I'll set here to normal, set the opacity to 100%. I'll click over here, and then I'll come here, double click on this side. I'll give it FF4800. Okay, and then I'll click on this side, double click here, I'll click on FFE, all right, B09. All right, and then I'll click on OK. I'll click on OK. Now let's see how it looks like. That's how it looks like. We're not yet done. Let's work on it more. I'll set it to normal here. I'll come here, set it to linear. Then guys, I'll also take this thing off. We don't want to see this thing. Okay, and then the angle, I'm going to give the angle, let's just say 97. Good. And then I'm going to give this 34. Okay, now maybe I'll click on reverse. Let's see. Okay, and I'll drag it down a little bit more. Okay, so I think something like this is interesting. I'll click on OK for now, and then I also want it to be a little bit spaced out. Okay, so I'm going to click on 20 here. No, 20 is too much. I'll click on 0. I feel like this is good, so we're going to maintain this. Good. Now I'm still going to type there, and I'm going to pick the rest of the name, and I'm going to pick it, paste it there. Now this is too big. Okay, so we need to use font Lato. I'm going to be using this font again. Okay, so yeah, Lato, I'm going to use Lato black. Okay, but it's too big, so we need to reduce it, or reduce it drastically to maybe around 28 or something will be nice. I'll click on my move tool, and then I'll move it somewhere here. The guys, follow along, it gets interesting. Control T, and then like I said, you need to make sure it is middle aligned. Let's go to Selena as well. Let's make sure Selena is what? Middle aligned. All right, it's nice to know you guys are following. But Amarachi, although I'm going to use white for it. Okay, also we're going to type Selena again, so I'm going to pick Selena, but this time I'm going to be using a different font for it. I'm going to type here, and I'm going to paste Selena there. Okay, I'm going to use orthographia. Nice. I don't want it to be all caps, so guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this caps lock off, or this cap sign off, and then let's just click on the move tool, then let's move it somewhere here. Okay, now let's make the font size quite big. I'll make it 114 for the meantime. Let's see. I feel like this is good, but then it's too bold, or it's too heavy. So let's make it light. Now we talking nice, guys. Now we talking. It looks good for me. Actually, yep, it looks good for me. Okay, so with this done, I want you to double click on it, and then let's go to let's say drop shadow. Okay, drop shadow here. Let's set it to maybe orangey color. Okay, let's click over the orange color. Let's set the opacity to maybe around 63. Nice. And then the angle here, let's set it to maybe around 172 thereabout. Okay, and then this, let's set it to 6, the distance 6, the spread 15, and then the size, let's set the size to 2. Okay, so I think this is great. Now also let's come to Amarachi, double click on it, and then I want you to go to, that's it, drop shadow effect, come here, set it to color black. Okay, all right, so with that done, we also want to go to opacity. Let's set the opacity to around 44. Yep, and then the angle here, you want to set it to 172. You also want to set the distance to maybe 36. Let's set the distance to 6. Okay, let's set the spread to 36, and then let's set the size here to 229. I'm doing that because I want the Amarachi to stand out. You can see this one is not standing out, but this one now, it stands out. So I like it this way. Okay, also perhaps I even like to drag it underneath this so that doesn't affect the Selena on top there. All right, so we are done with that as well. Now let's bring in our image, but let's put this in a group first. Okay, and then let's call it name. Let's call it name. All right, so we're done with the name. Selena, I need to make sure this Selena is in the middle. All right, so let's see, Control T, Control H. It has to be in the middle as well. I'm trying to keep everything middle aligned. Okay, the next thing is the image. I'll go to File, I'll go to Place Embedded, and then I'm going to pick this image. Good. Now I am going to drag it underneath the name. Okay, so I feel like this looks good. For the meantime, we can still work on it more. I'll put it in a group, then I'm going to call it image. Okay, also guys, we'll come back to the image. Okay, but for the meantime, let's go and then work on some few text over here. I'll click over here. I'm going to type God for God, and I'm also going to come to this side, and I'm going to set it to heather green, and then I'm going to set the font size to 109. Good. Set it to all caps over here. What else can we do to it now? I think let's give it some gradient overlay, but for the meantime, let's drag it somewhere here. I feel like the name should go down a bit more, so I'm going to drag it somewhere here. Yes, I feel like this place is better. And then the name, let's drag the name outside the image, then let's drag it underneath the image. Good. Then let's drag it down. Nice. Perhaps I like to keep it inside the box here, and then I'm going to double click on it and then give it this color code. Let's go to gradient overlay. Okay, click here. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to give it FF5300. Good. Double click here. I'm going to give it FFEB09. all right, good. I'm going to set the opacity here to 100. I'll set it to reflected, and then I'm going to set the angle to 97. I'll set here to maybe around 70 something. Okay, and then let's see. I'm also going to make sure a line here is turned on, and then reverse here is turned off. Okay, I'm going to drag it down here like this. Okay, so I feel like that's good. Now Selena, you can see that the colors here is really off. I don't like it, so I'll go back to Selena there. I'm going to work on the colors. I'm going to just drag it down. All right, so I think this is better. Click on OK. Good. So let's continue. I'm still going to test or type over here. Then I'm going to pick it has been. So we just want to see it has been God. That's what you're trying to see. I'm going to paste it there, but it's too big. So let's just bring somewhere here. Let's make it quiet, small. Okay, we are still using header green anyway. I'm going to use it 36. Small font size should do it. Okay, yep. Then I'm going to push it closer. Keep it there. Don't want it to cross that. Good. I'm still going to keep it color white. I'm going to put it in a group. I'm going to call it God so that we don't really forget it. Okay, now I'm going to click on the folder and then I'm going to give it some shadows. I'll go to drop shadows. Keep the opacity here maybe 45 or 44, whatever. Angle here is going to be 172. I'll keep here 6. I'll keep here 36. I'll keep here 229. Okay. Now you can see what I just did. You can see what it did over here. It made it stand out a bit more. Okay, so that's basically what we are trying to do, making it stand out a bit more. Okay, so what else can we do about this? Let's go to image. Okay, image. Click over here on the image. Go to the adjustments and go and set solid color. Set it color black. Alright, I want you to hold Alt and then come and click here. Alright, good. Now I want you to click on the white mask here. Pick your brush tool. Set it to color black here, and then make sure caps lock is off. And then just clean this side. Alright, just clean this side. Something like this. It's good. Nice. So with that done, you also want to go here on image this side, and then you want to go and pick your text tool. Just maybe drag and draw something like that. Okay, and then let's pick that. Let's pick it, and then let's paste it in there. Let's paste it in there. Good. Okay, now you want to click on your move tool, hold shift and drag it all the way down. But here is the thing, we cannot use heather green. Okay, we need to use a different font for this. We are going to use Lato for that. Okay, and then we're going to set it to bold. Nice. And then we are going to set the font size to 10 so that to be everything will fit in there nicely. Good. I also feel like this side, let's set it to around 10 thereabout. Okay, so around 10 will do. Nice. Okay, now let's also take the caps lock off and make it italics. It's middle. Good. Now I want you to come and pick that and just create round it. Nice. Drag it underneath it. Good. Now we're going to drag it down a bit more. Good. Okay, now we are also going to our properties. We're going to set the angle here to 60. Nice. Maybe let's just drag it up a bit more. Yeah, so this is good. So that is good, but we need to also give it a peculiar color that we want. I'm going to give it FFB806. Okay, I need that color for it. Okay, so now I'm going to push it down. I just want to keep it in the middle of the whole thing. Now I feel like the text, we could do more with the text. I just want to change the color at this point. I'm going to pick the brick red color or dark red color. I'll put it in a group. I'm going to call it Message. So we are done with that, but we can also do more with it. The shape, duplicate it, and then I want you to click on your rectangular tool. Make sure the fill is off, and then go and then look for the stroke. Set it to color white, and then the stroke number, I want you to choose 4. Good. Now I want you to zoom in on this. Good. Control T, and then I want you to just resize it a bit inside, just a bit. Good. That is enough. that is enough for us. So basically we are done with that. All right, so let's also bring in the date. I'm going to type here, I'm going to type 5 for the date. And then what we're going to do with it, the 5, let's use Montserrat for it. Okay, because Lato doesn't really have the 5 that I'm looking for, but Montserrat really has that kind of 5. So I'm going to set it to 50 here. Oh, good. I'll set it to italics here. The color code I'm going to give it is FF0004. Good. And then now let's double click on it, and then let's give it some few adjustments. I'm going to give it stroke over here. Okay, some few styles over here. I'm going to set the size here to 8. Outside here, color white, of course. And then that is good. Now let's go down to shadow, drop shadow. And then we're going to set it to multiply. Of course, we're going to set it to color black. Of course, the opacity, let's set the opacity to 90. Yep. And then let's set the angle here also to 90. And then let's set here the distance to 21. Let's set the spread to 5. And then let's set the size to 8. Okay, now come to the contour, and then I want you to choose this for the contour. That is it. Okay, all right, so this is how it's going to look like. I want you to click on your text tool, type here, and then type TH. Nice. Now guess what, we are going to use impact regular for that, and we are going to set the color to around break there about. Is going to be nice. Okay, now the font size, we need to decrease it drastically because that is not the center of attention. 5 is the center of attention, so 5 has to be big. The rest of the information needs to be a little bit smaller. I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to give it stroke as well. I'm going to give it 8 here, outside here, color white here. That is it. Okay, bring it closer, duplicate it, of course, pull it down, and then I'm going to pick April, okay, or APR. I'm going to double click it, and then I'm going to paste it there. Nice. Now because April is also quite important than the TH, April has to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make it maybe around 17 to 20 there about. That would be nice. Okay, then I'm going down, place embedded. I need to pick something I can put it on, so I'm going to pick this one. Okay, now you always know I like to use shapes, I like to use things like this to spice my work. Enter to really spice my work. So let's see how we can organize all these on it. Okay, maybe perhaps we should increase this a bit. All right, and then maybe those, let's see how we can push it in there. Good. Now we can put it in the group, and then we can call it date. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it to the skin. I'll drag it on top of it. Okay, so it covers part of the hands. Better still, we can even do something like that, just to make it much interesting even the more. Okay, now Amarachi, although everything is nice, perfect. We also want to now begin to add in the enhancement to make it beautiful. And the enhancement, when I'm talking about enhancement, I'm talking about glows. Okay, glows. I'll create a new layer, then I'll come to this lower left corner. I'm going to be picking a color code I'm going to be using. Okay, so I'm going to use any yellowish color like that over here. Okay, now once you pick the color, guys, that is it. Just click on okay. First thing we are going to be doing is caps lock off, soft round brush. I'm going to hit here. I'm going to set it to linear dodge. I'll click over here. I'm going to push it somewhere here. Good. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to pull it here, but this time I'm going to set it to color dodge. I hope you guys are following right. Nice. So this is what I'm going to be doing. Then I'm going to duplicate it, the color dodge. I'm going to bring it somewhere here. All right, nice. I'm going to duplicate it now, and then I'm going to pull it somewhere here. but I'm going to set it to linear dodge. Make it quite smaller. Okay, I just want it to be on that. Reduce the opacity a little bit if I want to. Okay, here. I'll duplicate it, push it somewhere here, set it the opacity all the way up, and then increase it a little bit more. Nice. Okay, so where else can we also put it? I feel like we can also put it maybe around the text over here. Increase it a bit more. Nice. Okay, so now this is now I'm going to put it in a group. I'll call it maybe glow. Alright, so guys, let's now add gradient map to it. Alright, so I'm going to add gradient map to it. I'll click here, I'll double click here. I'm going to set it to 481101. Good. I'll double click here. I'm going to set it to FF860F. Okay, so that is it. I'll set it to soft light. Nice and beautiful. Then finally, I'm going to the adjustment solid color. I'll set it to color black. Okay, then I'll set the opacity to 50%. Then I'll click on the mask here, make sure I pick my brush, and then set this side to color black. The lower left color is over here to color black. Make sure my caps lock is off. Okay, what you want to do is you want to just clear in there like that. Alright, so that's what you want to do. Just want to make sure so the details are all selected. Alright, and then that is basically it. So guys, this is how you create something like this. Now if you love this video, please hit the bell icon and subscribe to this channel. And remember, I love you all guys. Don't forget to like this video. See you in the next one. Peace out.